Hey Marty, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Wonderful. So I would like to introduce to you guys my wonderful friend Marty. He's one of these angels that I met in the city of Calgary. And Marty happens to own this piece of land, beautiful land, right here in the just off east of city of Calgary. And he was so generous with us, and he offered. How many acres of land these guys using now?
About 6 acres.
6 acres, right?
Maybe a little more, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So that's a lake is part of your property too?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marty, I know this is like I catch you off guard, but I really would like to ask a few questions, and I'd like to share that with you, share that with the people I know. So we've been talking for like 6 months about giving this land to newcomers to use it as a farm instead of just like sitting doing nothing. So we tried to find a better use for it. That's as far as I know. And this is all the property here. But this is the two pieces that were given to two families. This one and that one. And so far they planned for it to have a produced roses and everything. And we see the two family right there. So this is one family. And this is the other family. They're already preparing the land. So, Marty. Tell me a little bit, like, why did you do this?
Well, I have a number of companies, and they have been successful. I've been successful in Canada. I was not born here, but I came here when I was 11 months old.
Okay.
My mom and dad fell in love with Canada and from England, and they prospered here. I have been fortunate enough, and the land has been I've owned it for 35 years. I've hayed it every year and taken alfalfa off it, but I've grown bees and trees. And when you introduced the opportunity to help out people from other countries, I thought that was a great idea. I heard first about it on the radio, and I thought, there's so much land that we never use. And so I thought, if I could get a hold of somebody and put it into a productive scenario, I would like to do that. And so that's what I've done, is tried to give an opportunity to people that are from other countries. Lots of times we have misconceptions about people, and if we can weld that back together by sheer working in cooperation with each other, that's exactly what I'd like to do. And they're families of all the world that are the same. We all want to love our kids. We all want to enjoy each other's company. And it's when our leaders get involved that create the problems. Conversation in that respect. But land is a universal thing, and vegetables and food is something we're always going to need. And so that's my intent, is if I can help other families make that their livelihood and their prosperity, then I think they'll reward me as time goes on.
Absolutely. So Marty, this piece of land here is we start with two families, but I think each brought his own volunteers. So pretty much around 4 or 5 families involved here.
Yeah,
they work together as a team.
I think so. There's probably I've met probably 6 or 7 different family groups, and so they seem to all have a part in it. So I've given them my tractor, my rototillers, and most everything else, my pumps, and anything that they need as I can see it. This morning I went out and bought a seeder for them because they were doing everything by hand.
Oh, you bought a seeder?
I did buy a seeder.
Oh, good for you. Thank you for doing that.
But you can't farm this size of land by hand, I think.
Exactly.
It needs to be done some sort of automation.
So true.
Much of this automation, people from other countries have no idea that it even exists.
So true.
One of the families told me the newest tractor they had was 1920.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, holy smokes, they'll think my tractor's a Cadillac.
So, I mean, you've seen them, I can tell from the way they did the land here, What I heard from them is they pretty much did it the way they used to do it back home in Syria. I mean, the way they cut the land, the way they design it and all the stuff, because they want to produce here tomato, cucumbers, you name it, they're going to do with bees and all the stuff. And I can see that you're going a little bit, you don't want, you want them to do it to the best they can, but also it's not what you used to do it, or the way you know how it's been done. So based on whatever a few weeks now you've been in contact with them, and they are pretty much, the land is ready. Do you think they have the skills to succeed in this, or you think they need help from other Canadian farmers?
Well, the language is always the barrier, but it will be interesting to see. They irrigate topical, so they flood irrigate. We don't do that. We'll spray irrigates, which uses less water. In many cases, it's just faster because of the small seed that they're using.
Right.
And you can control the amount of water without using so much of the land the way they do it in Syria for canals. So I would say 50% of their grow surface will be used up in water canals rather than planting surface.
So true.
And we use a different way, so we could triple their output of the same land use.
And when I asked them why you're doing the canals, they said because we don't have money to buy the tubes and all the stuff and do it the proper modern irrigation system. So that will save them. It's labor intense, but it costs less, because everything back in the old country in Syria is all based on labor and nothing but labor. And that's lead to my next question. We have a lot of newcomers who came to Canada from Syria and other countries, and knowing the Syrian community, the new one, over 50-60% of them, they have a farming background. And wherever you go in Canada, you see empty lands. Do you think offering land for newcomers, whether, I mean, you know the other story that this is second year in a row, he started with 2 acres, now this year he took 20 acres. And I see this happening here. If this was a success, probably that's going to lead to more bigger land and more bigger operations. So you think it's better to put these land to a use in a new way, instead of just harvest it for barley or for wheat or anything like that, and give this new people the opportunity to use their skills, which is mainly farming, and we have nothing but farmland all over the country. So are you, obviously you're in favor of that, because you already donate this year this piece of land for them to use it. But do you see this model will work with somebody who doesn't speak English, new to the country, and they are not really familiar with the weather in Canada?
Well, you've asked me a raft of questions there, so Sam, let me kind of address as I see it. First of all, language is the biggest interference with communication skills back and forth.
Right.
To teach them that our soil retains water and doesn't evaporate it so quickly as where they came from.
Right.
So flood is they flood their fields, and what soaks in gets the plant operational. Where we use the ground, which is moist, to in fact give it the long-term watering that it needs, and use much less water. So if we had the interpreter right at the start with a sit-down meeting instead of
guessing.
Well, I'm going to say it quite bluntly. Most of the families here are a little block-headed. They do it their way. That's what's going to work. Several of them told me, no, we do it this way. And so I just, okay, you do it your way.
Right.
But, you mentioned the irrigation. I have all the piping, and I offered that all to them. And 68 gallons a minute would water that whole field. And we have that supply of water without taking lake water. So irrigation topical with sprays is much faster, and it's permanent. So you just turn it on and forget it, so to speak. And so the intensity of flood irrigation and the building of dams and whatnot, and the grade of the land, makes it quite difficult to get water to go everywhere you want it to go.
Exactly.
But to spray it is way more effective. Much
And
easier
efficient.
to do.
And you save water and this and that.
Oh, you save a lot of water.
So do you think if we offer these people who are interested in farming, if we have some kind of like orientation before they start doing all this, if we have some kind of courses, one-on-one mentoring, so at least you get them into the Canadian way of doing things, and at least also at the same time give them their space so they can feel like they're doing it the way they used to.
Yes.
Somehow integration between the what they used to and how we do it in here, because I mean just going like blindly just like that and do it as if like you're in Syria, I think it's one of hail or one of the snowstorm or some bad weather is just gonna kill everything, especially if they're not prepared for that.
Well, you know, that's true. I offered them greenhouses. They weren't interested in greenhouses to extend the season before and after.
Right.
They were only interested in getting their crops in. And,
They're only interested in what they know how to do it. Like
think
they don't
so,
want to get
yeah.
outside the box per se.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
But if you can show them a better way and they understand the better way, then the high intensity growing quite close together is much more protective in Canada because of the colder evenings, the weather. It's not like you have 9 months of hot weather like in the Syrian
Right.
area.
Right.
This you've got 4 months of grow, and then you try and extend it either way. And so to get it in early is phenomenal.
I see.
And to get it in or to take it out late by protection is easy to do. But when you have irrigation canals and that, you can't do that.
Exactly. Well, Marty, we started the farm is like this, and hopefully within a few weeks it's going to be completely different, and I'm going to be following up on this throughout the season. But on behalf of a lot of Syrians, on behalf of the Calgary Immigrant Support Society, I really appreciate what you've done. You give these families an opportunity for them to at least to have a taste how to do farming here in Canada, and also I would say you give them hope in a way that there's a lot of people out there willing to help them without anything, just they want to help and get them going. So I really appreciate everything you've done, Marty.
Well, I'd like to thank you too. The biggest thing, English, learning English, and if they don't know English, they can't get a job in Canada.
So
And
true.
without a job, they suffer in their families. But here kind of gives them the opportunity to integrate with English people.
100%.
And so that's what I think is the most valuable thing. It's nothing to do with gardening. It's nothing to do, it's communication.
So true. Wonderful. Thanks, Marty.